Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So today there's a lot of us, many people. It's a great pleasure to have you here today. We are amongst friends, we're partners. We are basically representing all the countries, Europe, Asia, and first of all, I hope you're all well. Tomorrow, there will be a similar meeting with the American market. So first thing I would like to mention is that we all would like to start activities and resume while sharing all the work we've been doing in this last month. Today is our Salone del Mobile, it is our furniture exhibition, and this was the date that we had saved for the Salone del Mobile. So I do not want to go back to the events that have happened recently in this last few months, but I must admit that for the first time ever in a peace period, companies, manufacturing companies, retail, tourism, as well as the possibility of meeting and staying together was basically prevented from occurring. It was a period that lasted a few months, and a crisis like this can only be overcome when fear will be over. Now, a first question that we should ask ourselves is, how will the home look like after so many events have taken place? Very probably, had we been asked this question many months ago, we would have probably answered in a general way, because we were used to looking at homes from the outside. We were very little conscious or aware of those places that we lived in on a daily basis. We imagined our houses had no kitchen. We thought of a strange life. RB, Uber, and co-working seemed to be the words that accompanied us. Whereas now we have discovered that a home is a place that is very intense, where we live, and it is a protecting space. It is, in a way, something that the share economy seems not to have been able to capture. Now it is time to have a clear mind and get an understanding of the ways in which this has impacted on our consciousness, on our awareness, on our desires. We have understood that working from home is not simple, but it is possible. We have realized that working on a kitchen top or on a kitchen chair is not so comfortable. We have discovered that also at home we need spaces that provide us with a greater degree of privacy. And we have discovered as well that green is a very important emotion also in our home places. And we have probably noticed as well that we are concentrating more on ourselves and on our passions. Now, I'm sure that design and that our sector, compared to many other sectors like fashion, for example, is more resilient. So I believe it is strong and well equipped to overcome this quite complicated moment. Now, I'm quite sure about the things I'm saying, because when we did the Zanotta transaction, we realized that we would enter an era where there would be less style, maybe in a moment when consumers will go back to their passions compared to the previous time. So I'm sure that our objective to place people in the middle is one of the most interesting things we can consider in our sector. And I must say that in this very moment we're going back to a new form of humanism with the people at the center, with all the activities turning around human beings. I believe we all need real projects and real people. Just a small remark. What have we done in this moment? Quite hiddenly. We've been working, we've been celebrating the Sacco 50 years, so we have also rediscovered the Molino project. We have been awarded many prizes. New York prize with the green, Sacco with the Oliva armchair, with the Kino, our table has been the best product of the year. We have had the Red Dot Award with the lips. So a lot of attention has been devoted to our products, and we've been doing so many things. And today's research is to share some of the things, some of the novelties we have. Today we have many guests with us. A dear friend, Marco Sammicheli, first of all, who's responsible for international relations at the Triennale and design professor at the Polytechnical University, is a correspondent of many different magazines centered on design. But first and above all, he's a friend who is going to help us this morning to discover, along with our designers, the designers who've been concentrating on the Zanotta novelties, to rediscover what we've done, to go deeper into the projects, and at the same time to present all the novelties. So Marco, you have the floor, and I wish you well for everything.
Grazie, Giuliano. Thank you very much, Mr. Mosconi. And good morning, good afternoon, and probably good evening to everyone, according to where you're following this digital event, Zanotta Stories, Back to Emotions 2020 Collections. Quoting what Mr. Mosconi just said, to all of you, it's quite important to introduce this journey, this digital journey together. He said that the house, the home, it's been rediscovered as a safe place, as a place where we feel protected. Also by our stuff, by our furniture, by our lamps, by our domestic landscape. We learned that everything is possible. We learned that everything is not very easy, but it's possible. And that's our commitment in this moment. We learned that we need to be strong. We learned that we need to have a green dimension around ourselves. We need that we can avoid style in order to respond and give space to our passions, from our everyday life to our home. Sometimes the Italian words are very direct and simple. Progetti veri, true projects, true to ourselves, true to our ethics, true to our everyday life. So empathy, emotions, human center, live content generated, lively design, which establish relations with people. It's what conducts Zanotta in the making and in the creative process of the 2020 collections. I'm not alone. I'm happy to share this with all of you following today with 5 design studios, which are based in Europe and Asia. And they will present 6 different products, 6 different items that we will be happy to discover and know with you. So thank you for being with us, and let's start this journey, which will be a studio visit. Thank you very much. There's not a better way to start with a hug. Hug means empathy, hug means communication and feelings. We are now live from Italy, Pavia, and from Singapore with the studio Lanzavecchia+Wai. Connected with us, there are the two principals, Francesca Lanzavecchia and Han Wai. Good morning and welcome to Zanotta Stories.
Good morning, Marco. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thanks to all of you for being here with us today, this morning, this afternoon for the Asian colleagues. And well, we started out with talking about emotions, and I think nothing describes better than the first feeling of like joy and energy that we got when we were reached by Zanotta. And we were asked for a meeting in their beautiful showroom in Piazza 25 Aprile in Milano. And that's where we received the first brief. They asked us to design a chair with armrest that suggests visual comfort. Of course, to us, for a young design studio, designing for Zanotta, it's a long cherished dream that comes true. And we wanted that emotion to pass through the product that we designed. The first sketch that we did eventually turned out into being the chair that we are presenting today. And we wanted this chair to embody the ultimate gesture of comfort, which is the hug. So Nena is a chair that looks and feels comfortable, and we believe it's perfect for dining, for working, and for relaxing around the table after dinner. So if we come to speak about the product, it's quite a character. The backrest is molded in soft foam, and is soft and enveloping, but it's also refined and sartorial thanks to the incredible craftsmanship that Zanotta is able to give to a poster product. So you're gonna see that the details, like the double pillow and the piping detail on that traverses across the backrest, give it a very iconic and strong presence into the interior. It's a chair that looks expressive and iconic. It has quirky proportions, but also we believe it's elegant because of its lightness and dynamicity. These big volumes are indeed suspended onto very slim legs, very thin legs with a taper edge, so that it looks even more floaty. So yeah, sorry.
No, don't worry, Francesca. You meant the word sartorial, and you also mentioned the episode when you got the call from an established company such as Zanotta. Can you tell a little bit the story behind the process when you get the call from such an important company, and when you meet the company and you can touch the tangible feeling of working with an entire system of competencies and people, and how this ended up to the brief and to this final product?
Well, of course, the first step was really to go and visit the factory, and that's where we saw with how much care and how much attention everything is carried out. We have always been in love with textile and the tailor aspect of products, so we thought that we really wanted to concentrate on a upholstered chair. We have been working in team with the Zanotta product development team. Has been an amazing experience. So it has been a journey that started basically 9 months ago. Yeah, I don't know, in October, and we went all the way from the first 3D drawing to define and fine-tune the details, the ergonomy of the chair. But probably the most funny to me, exciting part was actually when it came to the upholstery, to try how to dress up these sculpted volumes with a textile and then with a leather after that. So it has been a great synergy and a great time. We spent great times visiting the factory and dialoguing and fine-tuning the design together with the whole team.
You designed a chair, which Nena, it's her name, either for interior and for contracts. Could you or explain the process and the story behind this double needs?
Yes, of course. Okay, hi everyone, calling from Singapore. Okay, so this chair was designed and for both residential and especially contract environments. So how we think it can fit it is that it can punctuate all those spaces with its sculpted presence. But on the other hand, it's also considered for maintenance. So the upholstery, sorry, am I going? Okay, yeah. The upholstery of the backrest / armrest and of the top seat cover, these can be easily removed to be washed or to be replaced, which of course then improves the longevity of an, hopefully an iconic chair. Yeah.
I could see Francesca was grabbing a prototype.
Yeah, we were really proud on the way we managed, actually not us, but what was Marco who managed to sew, not Marco Sammicheli, but Marco from the product development team. How we managed to solve this detail, which we wanted to give the chair more character and transform it into the hold for the zipper of the backrest of the chair to undress it.
You meant that is, of course, upholstered, comfortable, but a very important feature of the chair, Nena chair, is that light visually and physically. And this is a characteristic which is considered very important in Asian markets, isn't it, Han?
Yeah, that's right. I've heard several stories from from my contacts that it needs to be visually light. It needs to have, especially for upholstered chairs, it needs to be an open back, so that dirt and crumbs from dining doesn't collect in the various crevices. And yes, lightness is a super important thing, not only in terms of visuality but also in physicality. Yeah, a lot of buying decisions are actually made or broken based on when they touch the chair. That, oh, this is a heavy chair. I guess not. Whereas, oh, it's a light chair. Okay, I will use it for my hotel or I use it for my huge restaurant. Yeah, so it is a big point in Asia for the physical weight of it.
Thank you. And Francesca, do you want to add something about the name? Because, if you call about character, of course, every character has a characteristics, and which are the drives that brought you to the name of Nena?
Well, that didn't only brought me, but us to. We think it's a very dear project, so dear project to the studio that we wanted to give it the name of someone who's close to us, and in this case, we named it after the nickname actually that my daughter Nina gave to herself. She called herself Nena. And so we believe it has a feminine look. It feels like a presence. It's a life companion, this chair. And I mean, you can look at it and see an insect maybe, or a bird walking on long legs, or a curvy woman on a pair of stiletto. But we believe it's gonna be a character that can add in to the mood of the house.
Thank you, Francesca. On last question, which are the other features that we didn't mention that they were important both for you and for the Zanotta company when you ended up the project?
I think, I mean, this is zooming out a bit. I think something that, I know, I mean, we engineer this cross-cultural bridge between Europe and Asia because we think questions like, you know, what is being happy at home? What is domestic comfort and coziness? You know, what is creating emotions and memories with loved ones? I think these are powerful questions that resonates in all cultures and markets, you know. And this project was really based on insights that contextualize the solution for a particular domain. And for sure, innovation always comes from diversity, and I think that resonates with us and also the Zanotta brand. Yeah.
Okay, thank you once again to Francesca Lanzavecchia+Wai, principals of Lanzavecchia+Wai, for the first product of today, which was the Nena chair. And now it's time to see how it looks and how our followers will see it in every showroom.
Thank you, Marco.
Zanotta Stories continues, as we said at the beginning, back to emotions, and this is the live digital event to present the 2020 collections of Zanotta. After Lanzavecchia+Wai, we are now adding to the second studio visit, and after Pavia and Singapore, we are now traveling towards Marche. And live from Tolentino, we are hosting the studio of Spalvieri and Del Ciotto. The studio was founded by Simone and his partner in crime, in business and life, Miss Del Ciotto. We are having just Simone live from the studio now. And good morning, Simone, and welcome to Zanotta Stories.
Hi Marco, and hi to everybody. I'm alone this morning because Valentina is with our son. We had a son 3 months ago, and so she's with him. And yes, we met Mr. Mosconi more than 2 years ago in Ancona, and he has a very beautiful space in Ancona, and it was impressive, really impressive. The space was impressive. And Mr. Mosconi told to us, I want that you see my space, this beautiful space, to understand what means beauty, to start to design something for Zanotta. So we started to design something that for us means beauty and simplicity. We started with a bed, and a bed for us was something that is very intimate. The most intimate piece, I think, of furniture that we have in our home. So we started to reflect on what means beauty, what means simplicity, and we arrived to think about the bedroom of our grandparents. When we was child, we remember this fresh space, this space made from very simple things, dry things. So we tried to create a bed that is very simple and elegant at the same time. And the name of this bed is Ricordi. That in English means memories.
Thank you, Simone. Yeah, let's. You mentioned three concepts which are very crucial to talk about this bed. You talk about a birth of your son. Yeah. You talk about beauty, which is a concept that us as Italians, we have to deal about it very much. It's part of our history, and it's a part of our everyday and future path. And this ended up in a bed where simplicity meets with this memory of our grandparents. Can you go deeper and tell a little bit more about how this simple but very important concepts are translated into solutions of this bed?
Yeah, you know, we both came from the countryside. We lived also in Milan, in London, but now we came back in Tolentino, this little town in the center of Italy. Our background told to us to create something that enlightened the materials, enlightened the simplicity of the materials, the quality, the visual quality of the materials. So we used the wood, the iron, and we started, for example, making very simple drawing sketches, and we started making using, for example, this iron tube that goes inside the wood. Under that, we arriving to move the tube upper to the wood part. Oops. And at the end, we arrived to this solution where the metal part is closed by the fabric. So the big cushions close the structure and create this interesting solution that enlightened the softness of the piece. Here you can see a little model we showed to Zanotta. Sorry, it's very delicate. Here you can see the softness of the bed and the simplicity, where the big cushions close the structure. So the tension of the cushions close the structure by creating a lock for the iron tube. So there are no screws, but only the tension of the fabric create the structure, the closing of the structure. And here, for example, you can see the frontal feet that at the first time was out inside the footboard, but the last solution was that. And you can see that using also a very simple material like iron, you can enlighten the quality of the material, moving the feet outside the footboard and creating a very elegant and sophisticated image.
Thank you, Simone, not only for using these very direct and effective words, but also to show with mock-ups and sketches what can be interpreted as a simple gesture and behind there's a lot of trials. And I assume this was also a very important back and forward between you and Zanotta. It's what we call, what I personally call, the ethics of our job. It's like, it's not just an artistic gesture. It's something that comes after a long process of trials and changing, and because reaching simplicity, it's not easy.
Exactly. What I like of Zanotta is its smart way of creating objects. I think that the main feature of Zanotta is that it has a very, very simple concept of objects, but realized in a very smart way. For example, Sacco or Shanghai every object arrives from an idea, from a smart idea. So in this case, also the bed is an idea. I think that in this bed you can find a technical approach that it's transformed to an aesthetic thing. So function in this case, aesthetics arrives from function in this case. And with Zanotta, it's impressive how everything seems simple for them. When they create the prototype, for example, everything seems to be in their DNA, and it's incredible how they create solutions from nothing. And it's like a ping pong conversation with them, and every time they give to you the right solution. So it's simple to be a designer with Zanotta. I think it's strange, but I think that when you find companies like that with a very sophisticated heritage, it's very simple to be a designer.
Thank you, Simone, because this sounds like the perfect music for the ears of a designer. I mean, usually the designer, they said, when I reach the company, they will say no, no, and no, and no. And this sounds like, yes, it's possible. We make it, we do it. And also, you mentioned the word functions, because of course we are here to refer the products to images, visions, and possibilities, but the Ricordi beds has a lot of clever solutions in terms of like easy to wash, and the dimension of the headboard is perfectly for all possible heights of mattresses. Can you tell us a little bit about these aspects?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, it's very important to create a bed where it's possible to change the covering part. So both the headboard and the footboard are completely with a cover, removable cover. So you can change the fabric, or you can select to you can select to use leather, for example, and you can select your fabric or leather from a very big selection that is offered by Zanotta. So for us, it's very important this point. And also the height of the headboard is very important, because today in all the world you can use different height of mattress. So from 20 to 30 centimeters, and it's possible to use every kind of mattress. And you can use also a topper, and there is no problem, because the height of the headboard is perfect for all the possible dimensions of the mattress.
Okay, thank you very much, Simone, for your explanation. I can remember to our audience and to our followers that actually every time they have questions, there will be a question time at the end of the journey of all the studio visits, and we will try to answer to some of these questions. And if there are many, and I'm sure there are, you can send it directly to the company, and the company will be happy to reply and give more insights and details about Ricordi beds and Nena chairs and all the others. So thank you very much, Simone, for your explanation.
Thank you.
So here we are with our next design studio, and it's the turn of Ludovica and Roberto Palomba. They've been working together since 1994 and collaborating with Zanotta since 2004. As you can see from the screen, in connection live with us from Milan, there's Roberto Palomba. The work of this studio spans from product design to interior to architecture, art direction, and communication. We have the pleasure to have with us Roberto, which will introduce two furniture pieces, part of the Zanotta Collection 2020. Good morning, Roberto, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Ciao. How are you? First of all, are you staying?
I'm staying up.
Like, we have to stay up. Thank you very much to invite me to introduce my new design for Zanotta. I'm very proud this year for this new collection because they really represent our connection with Zanotta. Both of the design is, I think, is full of inspiration of the Zanotta values, and so we are really proud for the result of this cooperation this year. There are two new design. The first design is an hybrid. I can't describe it in a different way because it's not a lounge chair, it's not a rocking chair. We don't know even how to name it. It's a strange, very useful, and I think amusing object. Is a lounge rocking chair. It's made with luxurious materials like saddle leather and a pillow that makes the seat very comfortable. But the characteristic of this object is made by this idea of rocking, made by a sort of equilibrium. While you sit in the change of a position, you change the angle of the rotation of the seat. So you can see it's a very, very light piece. This is a small model, we did it. But what is funny is that if you just have to move your feet like this, and then it starts to rock in this way, and it's very, very comfortable. It's a piece where you can stay to read, you can watch television, you can relax, and is on the other side very iconic. I think it's very important for the Zanotta collection pieces. They have to be iconic and are useful. So I think there is not existing something similar, and I think it was a good start to describe the new attitude of these goods from Zanotta to explore, to find other ways to think about furniture, and not in an unusual way. And I think these pieces could be very, very interesting. I can tell you that we designed this piece in a bigger one for a show we did in Milano a couple of months ago, before this horrible virus. And that was very, very successful. And so from this piece, made just one-off for this exhibition, we decided to redesign it and reinterpret it in a normal production product, because it was very successful, and so we were very happy about that. And this
I remember the show. I was there, and I really liked the fact that from the statement of that exhibition, so from the gesture of an art piece, it became a furniture item that you can that it can define your space. Because what I like about Rider, which is the name of the object, is that it's iconic, as you said, but also very ironic. This idea that with the feet you can move it and give a twist to something that usually it's quite fixed when you think of a lounge chair, and also very elegant. I mean, it's part of your style, of your language, to define space with objects, and the fact that you use irony in a moment where we are forced to take care of ourselves in interiors can really give a plus to an object. But this empathy and this emotions, this feeling, which is not only a remarkable element of this object, can be found also in the other piece that you are presenting for Zanotta. It's a sofa, and it's called Dove.
Yes, it's a cold dove, and it's a sofa that comes from. I think it comes not from the horrible lockdown period, but it's very connected somehow with the lockdown, because it's a our way to think about a new idea of cuddling, at home. What is more cuddling, like a pillow, sofa is the place where we cuddle ourselves, where we be cuddled by the other people, where we cuddle the family, where we are staying, where we are chatting with friends, when we come back to home, we are tired, we are stressed, and then we want a place where we can feel comfort and I don't know, safe and cuddle. And so, what is best than a pillow? A pillow is soft, is round, is sexy somehow. But it was something that was reminding me this idea of cuddle. Since I was very young, I was using to carry a pillow with me, like the Linus blanket from Schultz, and I was playing simply with pillows, and I was starting to say, okay, it's soft, it's round. You can see this is the typical shape of the pillow. Is very light and very simple. It's a very simple object. It's something that you can really. There is not a very complicated shape. It's an archetype shape. And so we say, okay, if I want to do a sofa, it's very simple for me. I just start to twist this pillow, and then I have my sofa. The sofa is very, very simple, and just so this is the dove. Is nothing like this. Nothing more than that. So applying this a single element, you can get something that is very round, soft, simple, and give me the idea of a place, a nest, a place where I can cuddle. So if I take one of these, now it's quite complicated, and then I take another one. So I make the sofa. So it's not. It's very simple, and there are still pillows of my sofa. So these are the pillow of my sofa, and this was the idea in terms of finding something that was giving it really the place, a sofa like a place, not just like a furniture. I think sofas, they are becoming really the core of the house. You stay on the sofa, just sleep in the bed, but the living room, we are not having like books or objects in the house, or bookshelves. They are not so much importance anymore. We have a tablet now that has 1,000 of books. So in the same way, we don't need even such a big wardrobe, because we buy things and throw it away. But the sofa, the couch is really the most important part of the house, because it's really the place, is the house at the end. I think the sofa must be very iconic and represent our state of mind, our mood. That's the reason why, for me, in this moment that I feel so unsafe, I feel so insecure, perhaps the sofa has to be really representing something that reminds me to something, I don't know, protective, and a hug. And I want to come back home and open the door and see this thing and say, okay, this is a place where I feel good, and it has to attract me, and then I have to lie there, sleep there, relax there, speak, chat, and it has to be and we design it with different elements, that you can combine with a very, very simple structure, with the feet that suspend these pillows. Like they are looking like floating, very light, and there's also some big one. They became like a dormeuse, and this is, I think, was a very simple way to say, okay, I come back and I jump on it, and I feel and I say, wow, I feel good. This is my pillow. This is my sofa. Then is even a bed. Is even a place where I can stay alone. I can be with the other part of my family. I can carry my dogs on it, and there was the feeling that we want to do with this. And it's very, very important, the the work that Zanotta people has done with the fabric. So we selected some fabric that has to look very, and so to say, very soft, very material, very tactile, in order to present this like a really an emotion, an experience for all the senses, not just to see, but also to touch, to feel, in a very intimate relationship with the furniture. Like that. I think we have to design products that can help the people to feel better, to feel good, and I think it's gonna be my mission for the future. I think this lockdown teach me a lot in terms of design, to dedicate my design to the other people, to the end user, not only to my ego that is less important than the people that I work for.
Thank you very much, Roberto, for sharing this message. Also, because one of the values of Zanotta is emotions and empathy, but it's often very difficult to translate this feeling. But as you said before, there's nothing safer and beautiful than a hug. And sometimes a big hug can be also given by a sofa, because when you lie down and back to basic with simplicity, like a gesture of a folding a cushions, you are there with your pillow, and it's beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. It was a pleasure to see you, and hope to see you in person soon. And I think this year the complete collection of Zanotta will be really, really amazing.
Thank you very much, Roberto.
You're welcome. Bye.
Zanotta Stories Back to Emotion 2020 collections continues in our digital journey, now heads to Stockholm. Our next design, our next studio visit is in Stockholm, where we are now live connected with Monica Förster. Good morning, Monica, and welcome to Zanotta Stories.
Hi, everyone. It's really, really nice to join, and greetings from a sunny Stockholm. I think it was maybe like 2 years ago or something, I received a letter from Mr. Giuliano Mosconi inviting me to make a collaboration with Zanotta. And in fact, I've known Mr. Mosconi since I think we started our long collaboration. I think it was already 2006, 2007, something like that. And I think he has had a great career, and I think I followed him within that the career, and also the different companies. And I'm very, very happy to be a part of this very nice collection this year.
Good. So we've been flipping through the collection and we saw chairs, we saw a bed, we saw a sofa, a rocking chair, and one of the typical items of Zanotta are the incredible family of tables. So it's thanks to you that this year the collection is adding a new table, and so I leave the floor to you to talk about Tucano.
Yes, thank you very much. It's I agree that Zanotta has a really sort of wonderful, collection also of tables, but also of writing desks. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of that, to adding a new expression into this really, really well-known typology within the company. So the idea with this writing desk called Tucano has been to work with something which is quite sculptural, that can be standing towards a wall, or that can be standing in the middle of a room. And so I've tried to work with it so it also looks very beautiful from both sides. So and the feeling I wanted to give was that it should have a very sort of light feeling, looking almost like it's sort of floating. What we have done is that we have used recyclable saddle leather, which is sort of cut and put together with pins to create a little bit more like rich feeling. And from the front, it actually looks like it's just pure leather, sort of floating. Also, we worked a lot sort of on the detailing. So the ends of the table is pressed down together to create an even thinner look and a very nice ending sort of on the detail. And what I wanted to do was to create something. I mean, we have heard a lot of people here before, my fellow colleagues, talking about emotions, talking about the warmth, talking about many things. So I think it's something similar also what we wanted to create. Something with, let's see if I can get this right, like that.
Yeah.
To create with this kind of the feeling of the leather and the rawness of this and the sort of natural leather, so that when you actually use this table, you will get a really, really nice patina. The measurements also of the table are quite important, because it's not that big. It's a little over 1 meter times 500, so that I can really see it sort of fitting into the home, fitting into hospitality, context and contract. But also, I mean, Mr. Roberto Palomba was talking about this sofa that was, being in the middle of the room, creating this place for the whole family. For me, this is almost like the contrast to that, sort of the complementary feeling, because also when you have a place where everyone hangs out, and you also maybe want to have a place where you can be a little bit by yourself. So this is that place. To go, to sit down, to have like a quiet moment for yourself, get organized, and also have a place at home where you can actually work.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. I think that there's a possibility that Tucano can sit towards the wall or stand in the middle of the room, is in somehow, because we were talking about feelings and we were talking about the name, which is Tucano.
Yes.
This piece of furniture twists its identity very, very clearly. Like, give me my own space, because over there it's where I sit, where I can make a phone call, where I can do a sketch, where I can also the saddle leather gives you a feeling very tactile.
No, exactly. I agree. And when I started to work on this, the table, and because the idea was that I really wanted to create something quite sculptural, the shape that sort of came out, also, of course, working in collaboration with the fantastic product development department that has, in the leadership of Daniele Greppi, it sort of came out like this. And my feeling was that it was almost like the bird.
Yeah.
Trying to, yeah. So it's like the beak of the bird, and this particular bird is called Tucano, and this is where the desk got its name. So for me, it's very connected to that. It's something quite strong, gives the character of the strong character, but still light, tactile object.
A last note to end the presentation of Tucano. It's a writing desk. It's more a writing desk than a classical traditional table. In your opinion, what is the trend in terms of interior and furniture pieces where we are, where in this particular time we need to have our corners, our moments that are in somehow detached from devices? Is that Tucano meant for that?
Yes, I think it is actually. It's like I mentioned before that I think it is a writing desk. So it's really, and it's not that large. So my feeling and hope is that it can fit in many different places. Oh, also sort of with the possibility that it can stand both towards a wall, look very sort of elegant, raw, with the tactility of the saddle leather, but also, if preferred, since to emphasize sort of the sculptural shape, you can also put it facing the room.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and now it's time to see the product in itself with a nice picture.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our last stop is Paris. Zanotta Stories after Stockholm goes to Paris, and now we are visiting the studio of Patrick Norguet. And good morning, Patrick.
Hello, how are you?
We are fine, thank you. I hope you are fine as well in this morning where we are going through the Zanotta Catalog 2020 collections. Back to Emotion is the claim, and we now have you here, and it's your turn to talk about Dan, a chair that you conceived for Zanotta.
Yeah, Dan, it's a long story, but it's a short story in the same time. But it's a lovely story because I meet Zanotta a long time ago. I meet Giuliano Mosconi maybe 15 years ago, and we tried to work together. I was young, but doesn't work. And 3 years ago, I was in Cologne, and Giuliano called me and said, "Hey, Patrick, when you have time, come to visit me in Zanotta." And I take a flight, arriving in Milano early in the morning. And I spent one day with Marco and Giuliano, and we talk about Zanotta. We don't talk about a brief, we don't talk about product, we just talk about the story of this brand. Because for me, this brand, it's like it's amazing story. And I leave the company with that. Just the small catalog of Zanotta. It's a Bible for me. And it was my inspiration because Giuliano don't ask me to design a product. Just say to me, "Hey, Patrick, try to think about what will be a product for Zanotta." And it was the best brief for me. I go back in Paris and I start to work. I start to think, I start to travel, because for me, Zanotta, it's a part of it's a Bible, it's a part of the Italian history after the Second World War. I think it's one of the best iconic products. The modernity, remember, Zanotta was, and here's a very freedom company. Remember this product, how to introduce this kind of product at this time now in this world. Freedom, no marketing, no business feeling, just to be free. And it was my inspiration because we start to work about the project, and 3 weeks after, I go back in Milano and I start to present not a product, but a book. And inside this book, it was just an idea, a concept of the chair. And we start to present Dan, and Dan is the result of it's like a shell. It's not a chair, it's a concept. Dan is a shell, and on this chair you can plug different skin. And we can go in different way, different market, different image. It's very minimalist, but when I say minimalist, it's timeless product too. And the idea was to clean. When you design a chair all the time, you think about comfort, of course, is the key, but you have a structure, you have metal frame, you inject the form, you cover with fabric. It's a lot of steps. Then it's just a basic shell, but we don't lose the comfort because it's amazing comfort shell. But it's the proposition of the shell, and with this platform, like a building, like a structure, we can plug different skill, and we can grow the project and to put the project in different place, outdoor, indoor, residential market, home market. It's like a system. It was a real pleasure to develop this project together. It was not easy. When you sit down, it's a very simple chair, but we need to solve a lot of equations with Daniele because the techniques was very, very difficult to conserve the comfort. This famous stripe, we spent a lot of time about the resistance, about the timeless of this stripe. And yes, it's a pleasure for me. You know, it's my gift today because it's my birthday today. It's my gift. Zanotta is my gift of the day.
Well, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And second, congratulations, because as you said, replying to history, to heritage, to the weight of a company such as Zanotta, it's not an easy job. And what you've been doing probably as a judoka, as someone that knows how to face not a conflict, but a meeting or like a battle, you said, like, I will reply with simplicity. And the story of Dan, it's a story of simplicity as a result. Yeah. But as you mentioned, it was not an easy job to end it up. Can you please tell us?
You know, for everybody, life, we want to have the simplicity of the life, but it's a big job. It's more and more the big job. Technology is, remember, a long time ago, Steve Jobs said, with this technology, everything was simple. Did you see that? It's more and more difficult. Look, we spent 1 hour before to connect together because we need to adjust to control the technology. And it's time after these 3 months of this evolution of the world to share the simplicity, but the real simplicity, not only the marketing simplicity, to be honest. And after 20 years, of course, I developed different product, different typology of product, a lot of furniture, but there's a lot of furniture in this market, no? It's difficult sometimes to create something new. Why? For which reason? I think it's time, and Zanotta this is the part of the DNA of Zanotta, is to share something honest. And Dan, it's only one. It's only one way because there's a lot of possibility to share something simple. But it's an interesting project about that. It's very simple, and I think it's correct.
But it's also it's also very versatile because beyond the extremely light wireframe steel structure, you can have it in different ways, right?
Yeah, it's a platform, it's a structure, it's a shell. And on this basic shell, all the investment is this shell. It's laser cutting, bending metal, stitch, a lot of techniques to produce this shell. The resistance, when you see the shape of this shell, we need to have a very strong structure. But with this proposition, we can plug different skin, like a jacket. We put different image on this shell. The stripe, it's a basic one for outdoor, but tomorrow you have the leather version. It's more Borghese, it's more bourgeois feeling. There's a lot of different possibilities. A platform, you know, remember a long time ago, the car industry do like this kind of things. For example, the Mini, there's a basic shell of the car, and you plug different image and different possibility to entrance in different room. Of course, residential market, contract, hotels, public area, and it's just a shell. We propose a structure with a strong image because the design is I think it's very strong. It's timeless. And yes, I'm very happy about this project because it's my first collaboration with this incredible company. I think Zanotta in this image, in this world, it's one of the best brand about a lot of things, about to introduce very strong design. And don't forget, it's an amazing story.
you mentioned the story and you mentioned the capabilities of this company. And in done, there's a lot of hidden work made by you and the workers of Zanotta.
Yep.
So if you can add an element, when, especially for the version covered in saddle leather, that gives to Dancia like a different status.
Yes, it's what is the idea. With the structure again, we can plug different jackets. And there's a legging, there's a jean jacket, there's velvet jacket, there's leather jacket, and you change your image. And this is the project. With the leather one, it's like iconic and classic and very bourgeois chair. And you change totally the image and the perception of the product.
Okay, Patrick, thank you very much for your explanation. And I ask you to stay online with us, because we are open the question times, and all our followers, audience, friends, dealers, journalists, ID community follow us and add some questions on a window that will be open soon. And you can see it on the screen. But before the questions, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Lanzavecchia+Wai. I want to thank Spalvieri del Ciotto, Ludovico and Roberto Palomba, Monica Förster, and you, Patrick, for giving us a lot of insights and a lot of elements that will help anyone to make this product accessible and make the stories behind all these products readable and shareable with all the design lovers of Zanotta. At the beginning, Mr. Mosconi was saying something that now it's proved by your work and your stuff. Like he said, what we've been doing during this very difficult and challenging times. He said, abbiamo lavorato, we've been working. And that's also a statement that it's important to share with our followers. We kept working hard to deliver this in a day like today, where Zanotta Stories is presenting the collection 2020. So thank you very much to the company, and thank you very much to you that you've been working so hard to deliver these items for the collection. So back on track, here we are to receive your questions. I now open it to the audience, and technologies is helping us. Okay, questions are on the way to be typed. I see, like in WhatsApp applications, like people is typing. Okay, the first questions is to Simone Spalvieri, for principal of Spalvieri del Ciotto Studio, and actually author of the bed recording. Simone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, Simone. The first question is about the heritage that you look at once you were designing this bed, and it's about the story of this clothing drying out in the sun, probably not only in the countryside because everyone does washing, but as we saw in the sketches, that was the story behind.
Yes, yes. The heritage is something very important in this project, because we thought not only the sheet lying to dry in the sun, but also about the wind that enters from the windows in the summer, or the song of cicadas when you sleep in the afternoon. You know, all things that are very, very simple, but at the base of the beauty, I think. And we wanted to put this kind of feelings in the bed. So this bed, I think, is very simple, but at the same time, it tried to recreate the sensation of comfort. I think for us it's most important to create an idea of bed, an idea of comfort, and not a shape, only a shape. No? I think the shape is something that you can like, but you must like, and you like more the idea of the comfort, the idea of the bed, because the bed is something that is with you a lot of time, and it must be something very intimate. So this heritage is our reference, this kind of heritage. I think, yes, all things that are pure and not so complicated.
Thank you, Simone.
You're welcome.
The next question is for Francesca Lanzavecchia+Wai. Is about the durability, because, you know, okay, sustainable processes are important, but one of the commitment of the design is that this object needs to be durable. What was your thought of behind the Nena chair when you thought that this has to be removable, washable, and easy to manage for the contract projects?
Well, regarding this aspect, we have been working mostly on two things. The first is that we wanted the chair to be undressable, so that you can wash it or replace it. It's the seat, for instance, is made very comfort thanks to the second layer. This second layer is that there's a second pillow that is also very interesting to see, because it casts a shadow on the seat and make it lighter, but also it's the pillow that you can remove if it's too much used, and you can substitute it with other. The other thing that can be that can be done is to remove the whole backrest and substitute also in this case, or wash the textile itself. Have I answered to you?
Yes, you did. So thank you very much, Francesca. And the next question, and it's actually also the last one because we are running out of time before the final remarks of Mr. Mosconi, is to, it depends also on the questions. If we could make it short, there's another question also to Patrick, but the next one is to Monica. You mentioned, Monica, the measures of Tucano table, and usually we are looking at designs with something very, very bold, with big statements, but you wanted to make something very like intimate and precise for a specific, let me say, like analogic action inside of an interior.
Yes, I mean, what you can say is that if you look at it from, I think it has two. It's a bit difficult for me to. If you look at it from the front here, you can see that it's very, very light. It does a light impression, and also, like I mentioned, the edges are pressed together, so it will look even lighter and more thin. And then if you look at it from if you look at it from the back, it's more it's more sculptural. So it has, you know, you can, I guess, I mean, I think that today it's good to have. I mean, we are in a very special situation right now, and I think it's quite nice to have also sometimes a place where you can be focused on one single thing, and that is maybe work, especially when you're home.
Okay, thank you very much, Monica, and thanks once again to all the studios. We are running out of time, so I leave the floor to Mr. Mosconi for the final remarks. So Marco Sammicheli is done for now. Thank you.
Thank you all, and thank you, Marco. Of course, it's not the same thing to review all these products from seeing them as opposed to touching them, to having them in front of you. But I think it was absolutely interesting to do this. We have 1,200 people connected to this presentation, so I would like to welcome and thank all the markets that have decided to listen to these presentations and be with us this morning. But I would like, from listening to your statements, I would like to say that when we started off this adventure with Zanotta, when we decided to have a company on board along with Techno that would have a product that would be strongly connected to people, well, our intuition on the market made us think that we could only go in the direction of Zanotta. So we realized back then how important it was to be coherent and consistent. We have been telling all the people who have made this long journey with us, we have told them our story, a story that is made of freedom of expression, that is made of lightness, that sometimes is also filled with irony. I mean, we shouldn't take us too seriously all the time. We do not want to impose any style or any whatsoever constraint on your future life. So we, therefore, reconsidered what design means for us. Design is always the story of the past, but it is also the story of your present times. It is a recollection or a memory of something you have in your home place. And design is a very important element, therefore, because it contains the past, the present, and the future. We always tried to give our creative people the freedom to interpret Zanotta and what it stands for. So the things we've seen, I believe, do go back to this concept of freedom. Of course, the virtual dimension of things will never be enough, will never be sufficient. I will be very happy if all the customers in the world will be capable of transferring somehow this object into the home places of the people, of their clients, and so be capable of reinterpret this level of attention that Zanotta is devoting to design. So now let me say a couple of things that have an operative value. We will send our clients, our friends, the documentation underpinning these products. Up until now, everything has been hidden somehow in order to then unveil today our products, our values, and from tomorrow our collaborators throughout the world will be available in order to continue to drill down into the things and the stories we told you today. So thank you, Marco, very much for being the gluing element amongst all these different works and design products. I would like to thank Francesca and Han for the rigorosity of their project and the beauty of it. I would like to thank Simone, because Simone as a defect, he comes from my same region. I would like to thank Roberto Palomba. Here, the history that binds us is a very long one. And I would like to thank Monica. She's very young, so I wouldn't want to say how long we've known each other for, so this will be our secret for the time being. And I would like to thank Patrick for his activity and for the challenge that he's facing with us. So thank you all. Thank you very much for this important moment, and I hope we manage to tell you the story of our intentions for the future. Thank you all.